quiet, please. Oh my gosh. Shh. Film's about to start.
Hello world, welcome to Drew's Reviews, and today's film will be discussing Bring Her Back, directed by twin brothers Danny and Michael Philippou. After a sudden family tragedy, two siblings are placed in a new home with a grieving foster mother. At first, everything seems calm, but strange behavior and unsettling discoveries hint at something much darker beneath the surface. Hi, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. You're probably doing much better than I am right now after seeing this movie. I saw the trailers to this film and I thought it was just going to be a quick little horror film. I was looking forward to it only because the directors of this film are the same directors of my favorite movie of 2023, Talk to Me. Honestly, the trailers didn't do much for me. It didn't really give a lot of story, but because of how much I love Talk to Me, regardless if the trailers grasp me or not, I'm still going to go check it out. But from the trailers, it just looked like it was going to be a really scary jump scare type of horror film, and I was okay with that. I can turn my brain off and watch a little horror film, and I didn't read anything about it, so I didn't know much about this movie at all, except that the Philippou brothers were directing it, and I hope I'm saying their name right. I think I'm botching it. Either way, they're wonderful directors, but oh wow, this movie kind of shook me a little bit, especially when it hit the climax of the film. I was completely drawn in at that point. This movie was so deep and very grimy and gritty. I was never scared. It's not really a scary movie. It's not scary at all.
I'm not listening to you. You're crazy.
This seemed more like a drama movie with very creepy aspects to it. They set the atmosphere very well in that regard. The deep narrative that this movie has, I just was not expecting at all. I really thought it was just going to be a jump scare here, a jump scare there, and at the end of it, the protagonist wins or all the protagonists lose.
I'm in danger!
Or vice versa with the antagonist. I'm just thinking it's gonna be a little by the numbers. That's what my impression of the trailer was, but I knew that they're really good at setting an atmosphere, making things really creepy and scary, so I thought that's what this was going to be more like, even though I didn't really have anything but the trailer to go off of, but it just wasn't that at all.
Gotcha.
This movie really takes its time and develops the characters somewhat at its detriment. Their first release, Talk to Me, that movie to me was a 10 out of 10. I had no notes. I thought the pacing was great, the atmosphere, the effects, the music, the actors, all of it. I thought it was wonderful. But for this one, I will say the biggest flaw that this movie has is it just doesn't get to the point quick enough for me. It seemed like they wanted to take their time with getting to the point, and unfortunately that just didn't work for me. Toward the second half of the film, it kind of just slowed down, which usually is where you want to kind of pull your audience in a little bit more. The first act, I was hooked in. It's just that second act was just a little bit too slow, and not that the movie is long at all. The movie wasn't long whatsoever. It was just that second act, they could have just done things a little more differently, and I feel like it would have grasped me more.
Perhaps.
But once it started to ease into the third act, wonderful. Then it really got my attention. All those things that were happening in the first act of the film, you get that payoff by the ending.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
And wow, was this movie so sad. The fact that they were willing to go to a certain place with this film, it was really well done. I thought the cast was wonderful. Billy Barrett, I thought he did a great job playing the older brother. He was really good, very believable. He's the main reason why the story hit so hard, I believe. And then Sora Wong, also another good performance. She did great. The brother and the sister, I loved their dynamic. You really felt how close they were, and the things that they were going through in the film really stood out in this film to me. And then Jonah Ren Phillips, amazing actor, very believable, very creepy, awesome performance. They did such a good job. And then let's talk about Sally Hawkins for a second. I've seen The Shape of Water, thought she was amazing in that, and she's such a sweet and kind woman in the Paddington franchise. She wasn't in this third one, but Paddington 1 and 2, two of my favorite movies, honestly. I've watched those so many times. She was great in both of those. And then Wonka, again, sweet, motherly, all of that. She completely flips that on its head. It was so hard to watch her be this way in this film. You get hints from this from the trailer that she's the antagonist, but she's just not this, oh, I'm so evil type of person. She's well-rounded, very three-dimensional character, and she plays the role so well. Her performance just draws you in, and you're trying to figure out what's going on through her head and why she's like the way that she is, and they kind of explain that through imagery and through her performance. And by the end, even I felt a little sad for her character, even though she was just a certain way throughout the entire film. You understand the motivations, and I just loved that. But it was just really cool to see her in a role like this and kind of broaden her scope a little bit. I mean, I haven't seen her in any role like this before. Maybe she's been in a role, but I haven't seen her whole filmography. From what I've seen, she's just been this sweet, nice little lady, very innocent and kind, and then they just flip it around on you, and she completely took on this role in the best possible way. As I mentioned before, this movie isn't scary at all. It's more creepy than anything, but the gore in this film is very evident, and I feel it's more effective just because of how tragic the story is, especially when you know what these characters are going through and what's happening to them. You just feel all the gore even more. It's not just gore for gore's sake. At one point, I did have to turn away just because of how terrifying it looked. I've seen all types of stuff watching different gore and horror movies, but this just hits so much harder when you have this emotional narrative behind it. Some of the effects, it just looks so real. I'm not even sure if they used any CGI, probably to touch up some things, but wow, it looked excellent. So the practical effects department did an amazing job, and I'm not sure if it's the same people they used in the previous movie, but if it is, I can understand why they did such a great job with this.
What does that have to do with anything?
No. He's got a point.
So I was completely surprised by this film. By the end of it, I was just sitting there in my seat, shocked at what I just experienced. I truly believe that these two brothers are starting to slowly change how horror movies are done, with having these really deep and tragic stories behind all of these horror concepts. I'm loving this mixture of drama and horror together, which I've seen a lot of horror movies that have done this type of thing before, but not a lot do. Some of them do the jump scares more than delving into the story, which unfortunately sometimes that just doesn't work well. But with how they're doing this, I'm definitely looking forward to their next film. I won't even have to watch a trailer. I'm just gonna go see it just because Talk to Me was so well done, and now this. I'm loving what they're doing in the franchise of horror. I'm going to give Bring Her Back an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie. They did such a great job overall. It was just that one section of the film that really kind of took me out, and I wish they would have gotten to the point a lot quicker, but at the end of it, it was well worth sitting through the entirety of the movie. I thought the payoff was great. The cast and the directing, they did a good job, and it did affect me in the way that I believe they wanted to affect the audience. Now, did I want to leave the theater sad about what happened?
No. Well,
but I'm glad I had the experience nonetheless, and in that regard, I enjoyed my time. I thought it was a wonderful film. Thank you for tuning in to my review of Bring Her Back. Please like, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments, what's your favorite drama/horror film that makes you sad like this one made me? I would love to hear your thoughts. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.